Will I have no reverse osmosis water if I lose power? The short answer is you will always have the water that was in your bladder tank at the time of power loss. And if you're on city water, you usually should be fine. Unless your city just happened to lose all of its backup generators and everything that supplies that pressure. Remember, we just need water pressure for the reverse osmosis unit to come through there. Some ROs, we don't push them very often, but you have, some people want to know how many gallons they have and they want to use the monitors. Of course, if you don't have power, you're not going to be able to meter that water, but as far as having that water come through there, as long as it has pressure, you have what's in that bladder. One little thing, we don't typically, this is kind of getting a little enhanced on this, but if you had a smaller UV light or something that you were using to disinfect the water as it came out of that bladder or prior to the RO, there's some companies that really push these hard. I don't want to say it's a little sleazy because because they're just doing it as an upsell and maybe a scare tactic of selling you whole home systems, especially on city waters where it always is a little bit a difference of opinion to me. You already have dead bacteria because all the chlorine and chemical that's killed everything along the way. To then zap the dead bacteria right after with a UV light, for $2,300, $2,400 extra, I don't see really the point of that. However, when you get to the reverse osmosis, it's maybe not a primary home or something, and you don't want to empty the 2 gallons of water out that's underneath the sink, and you fear potential bacteria growth in there, and you want to zap that as it comes out. I can understand that type of method, but obviously that UV light, wherever it is not working if you do not have power, you don't have that sterilization. Well water. If you do not have water pressure, you obviously can't push new water through that membrane of the RO. So once you run out of that water, you will be out. So keep that in mind unless you can get power to your pump, because without power, no pump, no pressure coming through there. And obviously if you were counting on UV sterilization, keep in mind you don't have that with power. Essentially the answer is no, power does not hurt unless you're on well water. Push that water through, it would be a very rare occasion that the city wouldn't have backup generators to give you that pressure. So the cool part with the city water is you'll have continual water. Keep in mind, if you've lost power and you're watching this video and it's maybe dripping out, I mean, we have every video on the planet kind of down here for you to keep learning from. But just keep in mind that with our systems, they make up to 50 gallons per day, but if it's a 2-gallon bladder, it's probably gonna take about 1 hour and 45 minutes for it to fill back up. So use that water conservatively. Hope this helps.